My name is Keith Duckworth, founder of Liberation Flow. I'd like to share with you what makes this yoga unique, why I do it, and what are the benefits. So, yoga. Yeah, I never thought I'd really actually ever do yoga. I used to be into a lot of strength training and running. Yoga first began as a way to have variety, to lifting weights, which got really bored. And I realized I was really stiff in a lot of places. So I started doing yoga maybe about 5 or 6 years ago. And it quickly evolved. You know, many of us get into yoga for the physical benefits, you know, great workout, sweat, and go hot yoga. And that's all wonderful. But really yoga, you know, is this many thousands of year old technology for integrating the body, the mind, and the spirit. So yoga is really infamous for this body-mind-spirit connection. And I didn't really think too much of it. So what has it evolved into me for now is that yoga is a way for me to return to my body. I spent many years dissociated. There was sexual trauma, a lot of emotional trauma, just a lot of repressed emotion, which is, many of us share this. Many of us have been locked away by expectations from our culture, our family, societies, and many belief systems that are founded in fear and shame. So Liberation Flow is to support my efforts in liberating myself from fear and shame-based belief systems. And in order to do that, we need to clear ourselves of repressed energy. So for me, yoga is about working with energy in motion, emotion, right? So it's great. We work with emotions that come up while we're in these asanas. So yoga for me really has these two important pieces. One is the breath, and one is the asana. So for those of you that aren't really familiar, vinyasa, all the vinyasa really means, what makes vinyasa yoga, vinyasa is pairing the breath with the movement, so that each movement or each breath is synchronized with an inhalation or an exhalation. And there's a lot of other kind of idiosyncrasies and other little technologies that go into working with the breath, such as the ujjayi breathing, the bandhas, squeezing different muscles at different places. And I teach that at different skill levels of my class. And the whole point of the breath is that yoga is really breath work. At its core, yoga is breath work. I've done breath work in other ways, holotropic breath work, shamanic breath work, and I found them mostly boring. So for me, yoga is a way that I can be in a practice where I'm getting physical benefits, I'm focusing my mind, and I'm actually doing the breath work as well. So at the end of my class, there's really no right or wrong way to do anything in a class, but for me, at the end of my practice, and I ask my students at the end of the class, did you breathe well? That's really what matters. If you breathe as well as you could, and that means every time you notice, you return to your breath. And if bandhas in your practice, you activate the bandhas, and you're coming more into the energy that's in your body. So yeah, breathing is one. And the postures are about taking yourself out of your normal range of being. So we walk, we sit, we sit behind the desk, we sit behind the car, we bag groceries. So we have sort of our normal human expression. But the asanas are to unlock, to move the body in ways to unlock energy, to unlock what yoga calls prana, but it's energy. And when that energy when it starts to move, it's energy in motion, so it's emotion. So yoga really has a lot to do with dealing with emotions. So those emotions come up while you're on the mat. You know, you're in some pose, and like you're breathing, and you're kind of squeezing certain areas, and you're really going in, massaging the organs. So what's really important to know is that each organ kind of has a specialty in holding certain energy or certain emotions. So maybe shame or anger. Anger is really good at being repressed in the liver. So those of you that have ever done a liver cleanse or do any postures that really get into the liver areas, you'll feel that burning sensation when that energy comes released, and there's this flame of rage, and you're stuck with dealing with it. Or maybe you're in a restorative pose, really relaxing and getting into the connective tissues. And all of a sudden you're crying and you don't know why, or you're remembering some childhood issue. And that's what the postures do, whether it's an active, heat generating, a yang movement where we're really strength building and generating heat, or we're in a yin mode where we're just relaxing and getting into the connective tissues. It took me many years to realize the connective tissues, or the fascia, is where we store most of our repressed emotions. So it's really, really important. I didn't do this for many years. It's really important to have a balance of the yin yang. So for many years, it's like, yoga's a great workout. Let's go, let's sweat, you know, ugh. And it's wonderful, but you need the balance of the yin. Those are the ones where you just sit there in the posture and breathe and really release. So back to the energy. One of the things that makes Liberation Flow unique, I have to give credit to a teacher of mine named Joe Weston. I incorporate what he has developed called the 4 pillars of power. His work is in personal power. It's called respectful confrontation. So it's really taking Buddhist, martial arts, yogic philosophies into how do we actually stand on our truth, speak that to other individuals with respect, and get our needs met without anyone getting hurt. So he has developed a framework called the 4 pillars. And what I love about it is that it's based on the 4 elements. Yes, it's based on the 4 natural elements of earth, fire, water, and air. And they incorporate, so they associate with 4 different qualities. So in the asanas that I've developed, which are all based on classic vinyasa, hatha movements, they're just put together in a way that resonates with me. And the journey that I've been through in reclaiming my power, you know, going through a stage of most of my life where I was giving my power away and I was people-pleasing a lot and really disconnected from my emotions. So this practice is about being in connection with the emotions and building strength, burning calories, building core strength. So we're working a lot of upper body, we're working a lot of lower body, we're getting right in the core, and we're using that breath work to go in and clear out a lot of stuck stuff. And that stuff comes up, and sometimes you have to deal with it other ways. And I've developed a Liberation soul dance, which is a sort of an ecstatic dance, 5 rhythms movement that was really influenced out of my love for electronic dance music and transformational dance music festivals. And I can speak about that in another video. So back to the 4 pillars. So the first and most important pillar that we work with is grounding. So every asana we move in, are we grounded? And that's associated with the water element. You would think, so would that be associated with earth? No, it's actually the water. Water always finds its way to the ground, gravity. It's very grounded. So we always work stability over flexibility. And then the second pillar we always work with, so every posture we get into, so if you're coming up, rising up in a warrior 1, really stable in your foundation. And then secondly, it's focus, and that's the element of fire. So we're bringing our focus 2 ways. We're bringing our focus with our vision, with our drishti, our gaze, and we're also bringing our focus with our breath. So our focus with our drishti, our gaze, really has to do, eye energy is so important. So when you learn to train where your eyes are, the eye energy, has so much to do with how you engage in the world. When you're talking to individuals, when you're seeing the world, it has so much to do with what energy you're projecting out with the filters that are coming in. And the other focus is really bringing that breath in. So we have this external focus, and then we have the internal focus. And yoga is about this balance, always about the balance of seeming opposites. Masculine, feminine energy, internal, external, dynamic, static. So we're bringing that energy, that focus inside with the breath. So the Ujjayi breath, 2 purposes of the breath. 1, generate heat. So you're constricting, Darth Vader, you know, generating heat. The heat loosens the energy and creates this cauldron where the energy is able to be released. So I love hot vinyasa. I'm not a big fan of Bikram. I think that's a little bit too aggressive on the body in my opinion, but I love hot vinyasa, just about 90 to 100 degrees most, really gets the body heated. Ujjayi, first purpose, energy, heat. And the second purpose is that noise, just creating that noise draws your attention in. So when you've lost, all of a sudden you're like, I can't hear myself breathing. That's a notice. Oh, I gotta start breathing again. And so I love when I hear all my students breathing in class. I just really feed off of it. I love it so much. So yeah, that's the fire energy. And how is that associated? I speak about teaching from Shiva Ray. This is, you know, how does fire operate? How does fire live and breathe? Air, right? So we offer our air, our oxygen, every breath is an offering to our internal Agni, and internal fire, to create that cauldron as we're breathing deep into the belly, right into this lower center where we've stored all our thing, breathing into the hips, breathing under the diaphragm. We're breathing deeper than we normally do because those are the places where we've held stuck energy. And again, it's probably emotion for the most part. That enables us to release it, and then we activate the bandhas to really release that energy on the exhale. So, grounding, focus, and then we incorporate the third element, which is strength. So yeah, power vinyasa, my vinyasas is, you know, we spend the first 50 or so minutes really getting the heat generating, sweating, working upper body, working lower body, really working core. We work core through the whole thing. And working core not just strengthens the core and the inner psoas, but it also, that's how this heat here is, again, is turning up this energy to release from this place. This is your power center. Right here, the womb for women, you know, this is that place where all the prana, the Shakti energy rises. And we learn how to channel it up through the body and out the heart specifically, and also out the throat, as we express into the world through our heart and through our throat. So we learn how to just move energy on the mat while we're also getting a great workout. And then we learn while we're interacting with the world and manifesting and working and doing the things, how do we take that off the mat? Expressing, moving up here, moving out here. So the strength, that's the earth element. And the last pillar we work with is flexibility. So I always end the flow with about 15 to 20 minutes of yin, or restorative practice. So we're really getting into chill music, we're really just relaxing, we're going to sit in a pose for 3 to 5 minutes, really get into specifically piriformis, really do a lot of hip openers where we store, one of my favorite sayings from Brian Kess is the hips are huge storage depots for a lot of locked emotions. So we get in there, you know, cry, whatever, scream. I incorporate some qigong into the yoga, in places really feeling the energy in the hands, feeling energy, really becoming energy conscious. Because the more consciousness you bring to the body and the energy, you're creating space for the awareness and the consciousness that's waking on the earth, for that to inhabit your body. So that's another purpose of the liberation flow, is we're clearing out our vessels. Our vessels are so important. We're not transcending, ascending anywhere. There's no ascension happening. It's a descension into this physical being, into this human experience of feeling pain, of feeling grief, of feeling anger, of being in our bodies. Because as our bodies wake up, the feminine element wakes up, and the consciousness that can come in. This is the union, the masculine and the feminine energies that come in to inhabit our bodies. We create a new vessel, we create a new being. We're birthing ourselves, we're birthing a new humanity, and it goes, this technology, which is thousands of years old, we continue to adapt it based on places we live, you know, music that we love to live to. We make it accessible, but we still need to incorporate that whole integrative element of body, mind, soul. But we're really seeing nowadays how this technology is so important as we clear out our vessels, all the old stuff, all the old baggage. You know, we're clearing out lineages of held pain and held belief systems. As we release those, we make space. And Tantra is called tapas and sponges. You know, you let go of the low-hanging fruit to make space for the new energy that wants to come in and birth itself. So we have to take responsibility for this. And Liberation Flow is a vinyasa flow practice that I've developed. My influences, Shiva Ray, Sadie Nardini, Brian Kest, and Sean Korn. So for me, I'm more and more incorporating a spiritual element. How can you turn these physical asanas and the breath into mudras, into offerings? So bringing a simple spiritual teaching in and allowing each movement to be an expression of the gratitude or the compassion, the self-compassion, the maitri that you're developing for yourself. And this continues to evolve, and I love, as it evolves through me, sharing this practice with my students. And so I just really wanted to share with you why I do yoga and what are the benefits of this specific practice that I've developed and continues to evolve through me. And you can check out the website. There's some Liberation Flow videos on there, and you can also check out Foxy Moxies, thefoxymoxies.com, for yoga sequences I've developed there through a feminine empowerment program, which incorporates yoga and dance and empowerment coaching to be foxy, fiery, and free. So thank you, and I'll also be doing a video soon about my Liberation Soul Dance and the benefits about dance. Thank you.